we have to be careful. We have a journalist, like this is a professional. We have to be careful here.
To find people that are interested in the same things that you are is kind of common, but to find people that are so kind and so like interested in the world and
sorry, I'm really becoming emotional all of a sudden.
I like to just like capture moments. You can also tell stories with sound and video, so filmmaking was just like a new chapter for me.
One AI feature that just was groundbreaking for our movie.
I spoke 3 different languages in the film.
Wow.
And I was telling someone that, and they were like, oh, so for Italian and for the Russian, you just used AI. And I was like, what? At one point, we have to have in the rolling credits, like, it wasn't AI, it was Ava.
Like, you should really know when to close the app and see that it affects you. It affects you emotionally, because otherwise you're risking to just like go online and stay there.
We need to take space, like we need to do this.
Thank you so much, Madeleine, for being here with us. It's amazing. Thank you for taking the time. I would love to start with you. Just please introduce yourself. We know that you are an amazing journalist. You're a writer. You're a producer. You are a documentarian. And Valeria told me an editor. Like, I think you do it all. So we're very excited. How did your journey start, like your creative journey?
Wow, first of all, thank you so much for that introduction. I started the journey. I don't know where it started actually, but I think I'm a person that always enjoy meeting new people, and I have an Italian dad and a Swedish mom, so language has always been like a big part of me. So I like to express myself in different languages, and it's really like interesting to tell stories. I have always been interested in that. So, and then I don't know, I think the journalism started like, I don't know, 15 years ago maybe. The time flies by. So it started with, I really like to take photos, and then I just like started to look up, maybe I should do something about, I don't know, photography or writing, and then I just thought, oh yeah, maybe journalism is something that can combine those two interests together. So I started up just looking for education, and then I went to school for 3 years. So I went to journalism school for 3 years, and that school was like kind of, it was a lot of like radio and TV and stuff like that. So it was like really big education. So kind of broad. And then my interest for video started there, I would say, because I thought like, it's just not journalism isn't just writing. it's you can also tell stories with sound and video, and that was kind of where it all started, I would say.
Okay, beautiful.
That is an interesting perspective, yeah. Journalism, because when I actually hear the word journalism, somehow to me it's all connected to, investigative journalism, political, something, social issues, like the things you see on news. But in reality, that can be telling stories of people, highlighting some important issues in the society, or just telling the stories. So that's the important part to you. Interesting. I didn't know you did photography. And what was your first camera?
My first camera, maybe it was like a digital one, like a small with the flash and everything.
Right.
I liked that early, but I'm not like a professional photographer, I wouldn't say. But I enjoyed more like taking videos, because I don't know, that was much easier for me, because like taking photos is just a lot about thinking about the light, and like you have just like a millisecond to take like a moment. For me, it was easier actually to just like catch a moment with video. So also of course you also need like light and timing and stuff like that, and you need to be like on your toes when you're a videographer too. But I mean, that was somehow for me it was easier, and also that you could like experience the sound, and yeah, so it opened like a door to something else for me.
When you talk about easier, are you meaning as in easier than writing, just sitting in a corner and writing, or is it, what is it you're talking about?
It's easier than just like photography for me. It's easier to capture a moment with video than to take photos. Like that's it's so
Got
much.
it.
You need to think about a lot of things when you're like just taking pictures.
That's what you mean.
Yeah. It's,
And may I ask you, what was the subject that you are most interested in? Because there are people who like photographing people, objects, obviously landscapes, different things. What was your kind of study?
I like to just like capture moments, and that can be anywhere. That's the beauty of it, because I try to see people in a picture. So I don't know if I explain this correctly, but not like landscapes or animals or stuff like that, but maybe just like people sitting on a bench, or
oh yes,
I don't know.
That actually brings me to the next question I wanted to ask you, because obviously you and I met in Florence. We did a 1 week workshop at NIFA, New York Film Academy, and it was very, very intense. It was also scalding hot, as you remember. So we were all kind of like tired and melting down and figuring out what are we actually doing and how we got ourselves into this situation. But you did have a lot of knowledge and a lot of, I remember how very helpful you were, how incredibly kind to everyone, that you were kind of like this helping hand, but in a very kind of not invasive way, it didn't feel like, oh, I know how to do it, I know better, so I'm going to just show you. Instead, it was like kind of, the guidance that you can that you can ask, and, it will be given in the right moment, in the right way. But yeah, there was a team of incredible people, and you made a beautiful film, and I was actually an actress in that film. That was a very weird experience for me. It was exactly about people sitting on the bench and capturing the moment, right? What was happening in this like millisecond of the time in the beautiful city of Florence. We were sitting on the Piazza Santa Croce.
First of all, you were a really good actress in that one. But it was you and Lee that were sitting there acting like a couple that were on vacation.
Yes.
But it was really, really like you had like a lot of patience, because it was, as you said, really warm. And yeah, I think that wasn't too good that we like record that thing during the day, like in the middle of the day on a square. But yeah, you guys were really good, and I don't know, I thought that was like a really great experience to meet you guys, and that was also and also thank you for saying those kind words. I thought the same about you, Valeria, because it was to find people that are interested in the same things that you are is kind of common, but to find people that are so kind and so like interested in the world, and about a lot of
sorry, I'm really becoming emotional all of a sudden.
It was like really a really intense experience, but it was also so beautiful to meet you guys, because we also continued to speak about stuff after. Of course, people are spread all over the world, so it's kind of difficult to speak and talk about the experience, but I think you were like the most you like brought us together like all the time to just like, oh hi guys, how are you? And I was just always so happy when you were
Thank you.
reaching out.
It was very meaningful for me, and I think that for the first time, I found that connection to people as well. The people who kind of speak on the same wavelength with me, to whom I don't have to explain every single thing. And it was very special. That's why I wanted to kind of go extra mile and, kind of bring us together. But yeah, I think like the time zones and different lifestyles, it's obviously difficult to manage. But we should have another meeting at the end of the year would be great. But yeah, I wanted to ask you, what was, you obviously told us that you are a documentarian and you made about 5 movies altogether, the last being about the Dancehall, which is your story, like something that is personal to you. But what was exactly your thinking process then? You wanted to go to NIFA. What was your calling? Why you wanted to do that workshop? Because you obviously have a good career as a journalist. What was something missing there that you were looking for something else, some other experience? So please tell us about that.
NIFA was also always like somewhere like far away for me. I saw it like kind of early in my career that NIFA was like an option, but it's also kind of expensive in the first way. But it was far away for a while because I needed to just like explore my options as a journalist, but I always been interested in movies and storytelling and capture like moments and stuff like I told you before. But I was just like, yeah, I need to apply for this scholarship to get it. Otherwise I couldn't do it. So it's just like, of course, the financial part of it, but I really was so happy when I got it, because it was just like a surprise for me. I just wanted to just like see if I could get the scholarship before, and then I was just like, okay, wow, I just 1 week just learning about movie making, that was just like I don't know, so overwhelming. but it was like I wanted to the journalism part of making videos, you need to just like really tell the truth and explore everything that's around you and tell stories in that way. So journalism is like really you need to tell the truth, and that's what I wanted to like try to. Filmmaking is just like experience something else. You can play around with characters and your imagination and stuff like that. So I wanted to just like try something else and be more, because I as you said before, I am an editor now and a producer mostly at my work. So I haven't been filming that much in the last couple of years. So I've been working together with other people that are like amazing videographers, and I wanted to just like explore it for myself too, because this course was also like filming. So I wanted to do that again, but in a more playful way. Yeah. Short answer, right?
No, it's beautiful. Thank you so much. What I think is very fascinating, and it's beautiful for everyone out there, is that you already had your career, successful career. You even had film documentaries. Like, it's not, you weren't a beginner. And
well, maybe.
You like, how many documentaries did we talk about you've done before you went to NIFA?
I think I've made like Valeria said, like 5 or 6 of them, maybe. Yeah.
Before you went to Knife and
Yeah.
Academy, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is not a beginner, no.
No, she wasn't a beginner, believe me.
That
like
is
I
not a
saw how
beginner.
she worked. No.
Yeah,
No.
and I think that's fascinating too. That you so was it because you went there because you wanted then to explore storytelling on another level, as in where you can just bend to the truth, like we say?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really important to tell the truth, of course, but filmmaking was like really something else. It was just like step outside your comfort zone and just like try to just like get everything aside and then just like start over. So filmmaking was just like a new chapter for me. Even if as you guys said, I've done some like documentaries, and that's about everyday life and dancing and stuff like that. But filmmaking was just like you can create whatever you like, and that's really different.
May I ask you about your first documentary? I think that was during the COVID, the pandemic time, right?
Yeah. So I have like a really good friend and co-worker at my workplace, Dagens Nyheter, in Sweden, a newspaper. His name is Lars Lindqvist, and he's like we had like a work together. We made a film about Bitcoin before. Like there were a lot of things about that project together that brought us together more. So we made that film together, and then we were like, we need to work together more. So so he's
We know this feeling.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, he was just like I don't know, he's just like my partner in crime. He's just like we have like the same vision about, well, not all the time, but we have like the same vision about telling stories, and that was so great for me to find that person at my work, because I learned so much from him, and I hopefully he learned from me too. But I mean, we were just talking during, it was in the beginning of the pandemic, and we couldn't be at work because we were working from home, and sometimes we were at work, but it was just like rarely. But yeah, and then we were just talking. We were just talking about the pandemic and how it affects people, and that we should find a way of telling like people's stories about how it is to stay at home. So it started there, and because we were filming at like hospitals and telling stories about, I don't know, like healthcare and everything about like the pandemic, but we wanted to tell like stories about how people were
Cope with it.
Yeah. And in some way, we just like, okay, so who should be like the main character in this documentary? And then I don't remember. Maybe it was Lasse's idea, but he was just like, what about if we go to like a building and see how people cope with COVID, like in this building. So we went just like there to research, and we found like a family that were there, that stayed there, and their grandparents lived at their place because they wanted to just like take care of the grandparents. So it was just like one family, and the neighbor were just like one lady that had a friend that died in COVID. And then just another woman that were kind of, I don't know, 75 or, and she was kind of not so afraid. So we found different characters in this building. So it was just like, okay, so the main character would be like this building. What happens in this building during the pandemic? So the life is the life of these people. What and we we follow them for a while just to see how they were and how they what were their thoughts about the whole thing. Just staying at home, and like 2020 was the year of where the world stopped. Like so that was like a really good experience for us to do that film together. That was the first movie we did together. Yeah.
And it was just the two of you.
It was another girl too who have like how do you say? She was an intern. She had an internship. Hanna, she worked with us together to just. She was filming with Lasse, and I was like the producer and editor. Yeah.
And you said you followed them for a while. Like, how long were you? What period was that? Was that a year?
No, not a year. It was just like a couple of weeks. I think we were there like different times. Mostly Lasse were there just filming together with Hanna, and then. Because it was the pandemic and we couldn't like work so much together, so it was a lot of like phone calls and stuff like that. So they were there for a couple of like weeks, and then it took I don't remember how long it took to record and produce it, but yeah, I would say maybe a month or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we interviewed another guest, and she's an actress but also like a producer and writer, and her experience was out of pandemic, that she filmed something that was like her character was herself, what she went through, and you were telling us that you found like another medium to tell the stories of people and what we went through this one building. It's a really interesting concept. I like it very much. But you obviously filmed another one. You filmed the one about the dance hall, and that is something that I think to you might be interesting for different reasons. First, because you are practicing it yourself, and also because you are, as far as I understand, within the community of those amazing women. And in the documentaries, some of them are moms, which kind of is telling a very interesting and very colorful story. So please tell us about this beautiful documentary that you made. Was it 2020? The year that...
22.
22.
We released it 22, I think. But it was... Yeah, I started to think about this documentary before the pandemic. And I started with also with my coworker. But it was not Lasse at that time. It was another coworker called Beatrice. And I just told her that I love this community and I would love to like show the community. That was just like the beginning, because as you said, I've been dancing dancehall since 2009 more or less, not every year but almost. So it's like a really good community. The dance community overall it's amazing. Every like aesthetic kind of I don't know, dance is always something that brings people together, but also like filmmaking and stuff like that obviously too, but dance is always just like the dancehall community is kind of small also in Stockholm, so it's not so it's just like kind of exclusive too, but yeah, I've been dancing for with my coach Jackie, who is like the main character in this movie, for quite some time, and she's like really talented, and I just wanted to follow her, but she has a teammate called Joanna that that has the kids, and she has so so much experience about dancehall, and she's been living and going back and forward to Jamaica for quite some time, because dancehall comes from Jamaica, and it's like a living style there. Not it's just the music, the street vibes, and the dancing. It's like a big, like it's the enormous thing there, of course. And Joanna and Jackie always tells us about, they have like, of course, practical dancing every semester, but they also have like a really like an how do you say, they have like once a year or twice a year, they have like lectures and stuff about dancehall too. So they talk about the community, and they talk about the struggles that the Jamaicans have to come to Europe and to the rest of the world to tell about the culture. So that's kind of really interesting, and they always tell us about just learn from the dancers in Jamaica, because they learn from the dancers in Jamaica, and then they teach. So that's this is a long story.
No,
it's difficult.
beautiful. It's really interesting, because my question was exactly about that. It's I think it's like a direct quote from the film itself, that it's not only it doesn't exist outside of the culture. So it's like a culture, it's a lifestyle, it's a dance, it's something that becomes your second nature. And it's really beautiful. And another message that I got from this movie is like this empowerment element of it, for the women to express themselves, their femininity, their sexuality, but outside of like a stereotypical concept that has been mandated by the society and men. So it's not about that. It's about how women express themselves and how they perceive themselves outside of everything else. And the other thing that I really liked, I don't remember who was it saying, but it was that, you can watch, but I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah, and, right. That's Jackie's telling us. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that very, very much.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
She has like a fierce attitude to a lot of things. Also, I mean, it's also about. I mean, as a Swede, it's you're always like supposed to be like the good girl and like do things right, and that clashes a bit with the Jamaican style. I mean, so for a long time, Joanna and Jackie has just like. Yeah, we need to take space. Like we need to do this.
Yes.
So that's that was that idea of telling that came along with the story. I mean, at first I just wanted to tell about the community, but I didn't have like the right aspect to it. It was just like, oh, it's just amazing to see how these women and men, of course, dance. But it got like on pause during the pandemic because the dance classes were cut off. They didn't have any dance classes because, of course, you couldn't like spread the virus and stuff. So yeah, and obviously, I mean, I'm a dancer also. So if you can't dance and you can't go like to the classes, you get kind of, I don't know. For me, at least, I get kind of depressed. So it was a time when we were just like dancing through the screen, and that was just like, listen to music, being like, how do you say? It's kind of like 3 seconds late, and then you just need to just like try to dance at home. That was just like not a good experience for me, at least. I needed to just like meet my friends and dance together with them. So it was on pause for a couple of years, at least 2 years, and then since I was doing this film with Lasse about the building, I saw like the potential on telling this story together with him and the other coworker. So we brought it up again, and then we started to just like because he was like a really newbie about dancehall, so that was like a perfect match, because I was just like, for me it was so easy to tell the story, and for him it was just like, why are we telling this? Why aren't we telling that? And he was just like a really good like collab partner on this, because he asked like the questions that I needed to hear, if you get what I mean.
Yes.
So that was kind of how we, and then also together with Joanna and Jackie, they told me a lot of things, and then we were just like, okay, yeah, we need to do this take on them.
So how big was the crew?
Yeah, it was me, Lasse, and Beatrice. Yeah, so 3 people. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and I would love to talk to you about the producing, because you've produced a lot.
Yeah. So different things. I mean, like I produce like short stuff, like just, I don't know, videos on news, more or less, like regularly, like during like everyday life. But these longer things is something else. You need to like really get into it, and it's so inspiring and so funny to do this kind of like longer stories. But the longest thing I've done is like 15 or 20 minutes. I think it's not longer than that. So I haven't done like a long movie or a feature film or something like that. But I have done a lot of like longer and shorter stories. So yeah, it's an amazing experience, especially when you work together with like pros. So yeah, what can I tell you?
And you're saying the difference between, you said you had like the short, very short ones, and then the longer one. You said it was fun and you enjoyed it. What was the producing process? Like, I know there are a lot of people listening that want to go into producing, or maybe are like you are, and like we are filmmakers, actors, writers, directors that just want to produce their own material. And that's what you've been doing. So what was the process of, when you say like the difference between the shorter ones, we're talking about like even 3 minutes, right? Or something like that, to the longer format?
Yeah. I mean, I've been really lucky. I need to say that, because I've been working at this place where they have given me the opportunity to make this kind of content. But I mean, of course, it's also just, of course, my drive and stuff like that. But I mean, I've been lucky because let's face it, it's really expensive to have like everything by yourself and do it by yourself, and then also getting sponsors and stuff like that. It's not a game. So I'm really like I admire people that doesn't have like a company behind their backs. So I've been lucky in that part. I mean,
yeah. So here you're talking about the company. You're talking about the biggest newspaper in Sweden. Am I right?
Yeah. Dagens Nyheter. So I've been lucky to been. I've been working there for 8 years. So there was a lot of co-workers and managers that thought that video is like essential, and we need to explore this more, and I was a part of that. So I feel lucky to have been a part of like the beginning of telling like longer stories on Dagens Nyheter, and also well, my work is to develop other formats and try to I don't know, find like younger people watching our stuff and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing nowadays. But I mean, to have the opportunity to do like the documentaries was amazing for me at least. So that was the part where I grew as a producer, of course, because in the beginning we were doing these kinds of shorter stories, like I don't know, as you said, 1 to 3 minutes maybe, and we have like amazing photographers there. So the photographers are also videographers, so they are outside there in the world and taking like interviews, content, and I used to build everything together at home. So I use their material to make the stories. So I haven't been out there filming by myself for quite some time. But I mean, then when the opportunity to make longer films with the first one with about the pandemic, and then we made another one, and then we made another one about politics and Trump and stuff like that. We started to get like really warm in our clothes, as you say here in Sweden. So the Dancehall movie, that was the last one I did, was a really great experience. So I grew as a producer during the different kind of projects that went by. Yeah.
This is a very multi-layered story that you're telling us, and I'm sure, like you mentioned a couple of times, that you got lucky to get this place and people who support you, but I'm sure they're equally lucky to have you, because you are amazing and very talented. But what I want to ask you is, what is obviously, like, producing short term, what I've asked you, the kind of like a shorter stories is different from the documentaries, but what it means to you to edit someone else's work, because in a way you're also telling the stories through yourself, right? So the editing process is very much, I think, before I started doing it myself, I've never realized how much the story can be altered, changed, how different emotions can be kind of not manipulated, but like evoked because of the editing, because of the pause that you are inserting there, because you're making like something, cut, or letting the moment breathe. It's a very kind of, I think, at times nerve-wracking thing, because sometimes you just like, you don't know where to cut, how to, you know what I mean? How to kind of shape a certain story, especially if it's not your story, you're telling someone else's story. So what's the editing means to you? How long have you been doing that? And tell us about this.
I usually have like a great conversation with the photographer before they're about to do this work. So, for example, the photographers make a lot of trips to other places in the world. So, for an example, during the election now in US, they let me know what they're about to do, what kind of interviews they're going through and stuff like that. We're going to this place and that place, and then we sit together before they travel to just like, okay, so who are you going to meet? Where are you going to be? What options do you have? And stuff like that. So we talk a lot about like the content before. Then of course reality is different than just like sitting at home planning and hope for the best image or the best scene or something like that. But I mean, at least we both have like the same visual idea before they do the work. So hopefully when we have time we do that. Sometimes, of course, our photographers are like really talented, so they just like leave material, and I will edit it the best I can, even if I don't know anything about the work. I need to just like, okay, I need to listen to this interview. This is about this and that, and then everything can't be like amazing. That's a really big thing to tell you, that we don't have time like all the time to just like do everything. But I mean, when we have planned something and we have the same idea before, then I usually can tell the story like, yeah, we have an idea and we have a plan, and then let's create something together. Yeah.
Yeah, the other question we wanted to ask you is about the AI. And I also found on the link that you shared with us that you wrote an article with a co-author about AI. And it was obviously in Swedish, so I couldn't read it. I tried to translate the part which was in the open access. And it wasn't, think like you have a little bit of a skeptic attitude towards it. And we are very curious. We're learning about AI. This is one of the topics that, among others, like on the forefront of our agenda and like exploration. So we want to ask you, how do you view this in your work, in your personal life, maybe if you use it at all, and how do you think it will affect the creativity in the world? Because I think like everything that we do, journalism, documentaries, is everything about creativity after all, and the way how we explore it and how we can connect to it and how we can kind of harness it and bring it to the world through the stuff that we do. So what's your sort of attitude with this?
I think AI is really exciting. It's kind of difficult to talk about it because it's a really big topic. But I mean, if you're just like specific, if I need to be specific about how our perspective is on AI at work, we are exploring a lot of things about AI. We are trying different kind of tools just to understand and to learn if you can see if you can do stuff faster than before, translation and stuff like that. So we are using it kind of, maybe every day at work at least, I would say. But we have like a really strict policy about AI pictures and AI movies. So we don't publish pictures that are generated by AI, because if we write an article about it, of course we can just like have a picture and then just like explain about it. This is a generated photo about AI. But otherwise it's like really strict, at least for now. And then sometimes we have just like some changes in that policy, but at least it's really strict at the newspaper for now. But the article you told me about, that was also a thing I did with Lasse. So it's always Lasse. And we were really interested about how the questions that you are asking me now. So how does an artist, a photographer, and then a musician, what are they thinking about AI? So we met like 3 different kind of people that told us about their idea about AI. And they were, the artists were like really strict and was like, oh, I don't want people on the internet taking my my work and trying to, I don't know. He was like really mad and he and sad about it. The musician used a lot of AI tools to create and he saw like the possibilities in the future. So he was, and also the photographer used an AI tool to, I don't know, she was taking a lot of pictures on weddings. And then you take like, I don't know, 7,000 photos, and then she had like a tool that, I don't know, learned her style. So she could just like choose a lot of photos in that kind of, well, she thought that she could use some things about that was generated about with AI. But I mean, she was also kind of scared, because some people are just like, okay, so is my work going to be the same? And does are people about to see the difference between the reality and AI in the future? So people are kind of scared. But our work, at least the policy, is like, we need to be around the world to tell the stories that are right, that are they have like to tell like the truth. We're here in like, I don't know, for an example, we're here in Lebanon right now to tell you about what's happening right now and what's happening here. So that has become even more like important to show the public that okay, and this isn't anything that we have like created or anything. This is the real world, and we need to show to the people this. So yeah, AI is a very big topic, but yeah, my opinion is that it's really interesting and we can learn a lot from it. But yeah, you need to be careful also.
Yeah. I think there is a lot of
talk about.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, you go, Gorgeous.
No, I just wanted to mention that to your point that there is actually a lot of fear around it, and in particularly in creative field, I think that people are scared. For one thing, that it will, take some part of their jobs away. Otherwise, it will alter our understanding of, creativity and its value. Because, like, what if you can generate anything? Then why would you, you won't train your own kind of muscle, and then ultimately it will become kind of dead. You won't be able to use it whenever you want. So there's a lot of fear, but also a lot of excitement, and I think it's kind of this how to reconcile both and have your own experience and just allow yourself to explore. That's the tricky part, because I've been up and down with this, and I'll probably talk some more because I'm really interested in this topic, but I want Eva to ask the question she wanted first, please.
Yeah, no, the same here, because as an actor, like as a producer, I see the potential in it. But as an actor, I do feel this a little bit, like I'm trying to understand for me, like where can I see the positivity in it? How can I use it? Because we know it can replace like background actors and stuff like that can come in the future or has even happened. So that's an interesting. What I want to ask is, when after interviewing those three, did your view of it change? Were you less afraid, more, or were you just even more intrigued or more interested? Go like, okay, I need to dive deeper into this, into the AI topic.
That's a really good question. I thought that I didn't know so much about it before I did this work, because I knew about it, but I haven't like really understand. I couldn't like really understand how generated AI worked. I was just like, okay, so I needed to research a lot before I met them, because I thought like I need to know the questions I need to ask them. So I thought I learned a lot about it when I just did the research before. But just to find these three people was really interesting, because they had like really different perspectives of it. So I wasn't afraid. I was just like, oh, Jesus, maybe what happens if, I don't know, what happens in the future if this continues to be, the AI continues to be this good? That was the question before. I wasn't afraid, but I can really understand, like, I don't know, as you said before, I didn't even know that actors in the background were AI generated even. So I'm learning every day. Yeah. But after meeting these three people, it was even more like I was more interested in the topic. So I've learned a lot just meeting them and getting to know their perspective, and and I thought about it since. So since then I've been thinking about it, and we are talking about it a lot. I don't know, in my personal life and at work we are talking about it like maybe every day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you use AI in your personal life, if I may ask? That's interesting.
In my personal life, not that much actually. A lot of people are using ChatGPT because it's kind of, I don't know, as you as we were trying to just like do the technical part of this interview. But I mean, I think it's great to just like have quick answers and stuff like that. But I'm not using it as much as I should maybe. But at work we are using it quite a lot in I don't know, summarize some scripts sometimes, just to like understand the topic. Sometimes you can just like use it, and then for me it's good to use it when because we always translate our stories, and we are texting everything, so that's good for just like it's quicker to use those kinds of tools. So that's really effectful actually. But we are also using Frame.io, if you know what it is. I'm not sure. On Premiere Pro, that's an editor tool. So we are using Frame.io just to explore and see if we will use it in the future. So just now it's just like a trial phase, and then we are using some AI tool just to for social media platforms to, I don't know, to just like summarize stories and put them out in different kinds of channels and stuff like that, and platforms. So it's more for
technical stuff, right?
Yeah, technical stuff, and to speed up the process and stuff like that. So so we can just like focus on other creative stuff. So that's the purpose. Yeah, I would say.
I think it's the.
May I ask you?
Go.
I'm sorry. I think we're so interested in this. You can see we're both. May I ask you? May I ask you? I mean, this is amazing. Having a journalist in front of us, someone that's done documentaries, like kick-ass woman, who you are. It's amazing. And now we're diving into the AI one, which we both want to learn more, and we've been using. So my question was twofold. Was first, if which one you're using for the social media, what's the name of it, and the second one is, have you also used it for your producing? Like, do you use AI when you're producing, and if how do you use it?
For social media platforms, we use a tool called EchoBox that should like inspire. It has like a list of suggestions, and then just like, oh, maybe you should put this out on Facebook, and then maybe this one on Instagram and stuff like that. It works kind of well, but it's also, I mean, you always need the person to see if it's correctly, if it's right, because we know our social platforms, at least for now. So that kind of tool is just like a suggestion. It's not always accurate, because sometimes it, I don't know, makes a sentence shorter in a way that you don't even understand it. So you need to just like have a person that check everything up if it's correct and stuff like that. Anyways, so it can help sometimes, but I would say that it hasn't helped us. Like, it's not like a revolution for us. We thought it was going to be like, okay, this is going to be like a tool that we could like change everything for us, but it hasn't been. We are kind of happy to use the tool because it makes us work a little bit faster. As I said, we can just like focus on other stuff that are more creative, and just like posting on Facebook isn't like the most creative thing you could do. But on Instagram we are like just like and TikTok we are focusing just like a lot on visual journalism, and that the AI tools can't help us there. That there you need to just like have your personal expertise to show that. But in the producing part, as I said, I use Premiere Pro in my when I edit, but the only thing I use is just like to translate and to put on like the lyrics. No, not the lyrics.
The captions.
The captions
Right.
on
Yes,
the interviews.
yes.
Yeah, that's the only
Yeah.
thing I use it for now. Yeah.
I don't
What do
use
you guys
Premiere
think?
Pro. I use DaVinci Resolve, obviously, for because that's what they taught us at NIFA, and I kind of enjoyed it. I've never tried Premiere Pro. Maybe I will, but I used one AI feature that just was groundbreaking for our movie. I was trying to fix the sound for so long, and Eva knows that better than anyone else. It was just so frustrating because every time I had to do everything manually, like cut, sync, like minor things. And there was so much of a background noise uncontrolled. There's like, I used different plugins, different filters, nothing worked. And then I just re-updated the DaVinci Resolve. I'm using Pro, obviously. The DaVinci Resolve newest version, and there was this one feature that just like changed everything. And it was so simple that you can basically just click on the button and everything will be fixed automatically for you.
Wow.
And that made me pause. Obviously I was very excited, and I was happy that that's how it happened, that I didn't have that problem. But at the same time, I think because the problem was there, I kind of trained my muscle. I learned how to do it the longer way, the way that I understand how to sync everything manually, how to look for like visual clues, how to look for audio clues, how to kind of put it all together. If I knew about this feature, I would never go at such length to learn things. And I think that's the gray area, really. I think we are very privileged as a generation that was born before the technology, and we kind of had this a little bit of a childhood without all of this, and then it kind of slowly was introduced into our lives,
Right.
and then obviously it became what it became, uncontrollable and very intense journey for everyone. But I think still, because we have this experience, and now with AI as well, we're kind of navigating it one step at a time. I think like people who are maybe more like teenagers, they wouldn't have that thing, and that's kind of scary. And that brings me to the next question about, I think like you have a very almost like surgical way how you use AI. So you have like a number of things that you're comfortable with exploring with AI, which are mainly like technical, the things that will optimize your working process and adds your flow and help along the way. But everything that pertains to creativity, you're kind of, no, I'm kind of setting the boundary right there. I don't really know what is there, and I don't maybe even, what do you think? Is it, are you not interested, or do you think there is like some sort of fear? Do you don't want to seize control over the creative part of your work? And the last question is, would you try for your future documentary, because I'm sure it's going to be another one for you, would you consider using AI more as a kind of like partner, in a way that it will co-create with you, maybe will brainstorm with it, or even like suggest ideas for your project? Or would you put the full stop and say, no, this is not something that I'm interested in, don't want to experiment?
I would say that it's not that I'm not interested. I'm really interested to try stuff out, to see how they work, because we had like a good workshop, our group together as a team at work about AI for just like, I don't know, a few hours, and then everyone agreed on like, if you want to tell a story, if you have like a manuscript or something, or just want to just like bounce an idea towards AI, everyone was just like positive to have like a to use it as like a co-worker, as you said, just like, I don't know, think to like, I want to tell this story, should I can you give me like inspiration how to start or how to end this film or stuff like that? That would be something I would try to to use, just to, I don't know, get some inspiration, and see if I think, I don't know, if I think in another direction maybe, or if I agree. So that I'm not afraid of it. I think I could maybe have have an experience in the future where I can just like really discuss ideas with AI, but just to like create images and stuff like that, that would be still a no for me, because at least for documentaries, I mean, films maybe is another way. I'm not sure yet. My thought isn't clear yet about it, but I mean, documentaries and journalism, for an example, is always to try to tell the story as accurate as you can. And of course, you need to create scenes sometimes, and you need to just like that's you can't just like follow a person every time. You need to just like, okay, we need to sit down and we need to have the interview, and you need to tell us about this and this, because we want to have like certain quotes and stuff like that. So obviously when you're making films, you are making the scenes as a film, of course, but I wouldn't use AI to just like, I don't know, for the image at least, but just to discuss ideas, that I would be open for it in the future. Yeah. What do you guys think about it?
Well, you asked us before, yeah, exactly what we think. And I think when I was listening to you, Madeleine, I learned something. As an actor, where I think at least where I can definitely tap into it is I'm going to look into this echo box. Because one thing we actors need is to market ourselves. And I think that's definitely somewhere where we can tap into the AI and use it and simplify the process. Because sometimes marketing oneself can be it's not always the easiest thing. Going like, hi, here I am. Hey. So I think thank you so much. Just listening to you and how you use it and what you were talking about is that I realized, okay, that is definitely one thing actors can use, every creative can use when you're marketing yourself. Like, simplify it as much as you can. If it's not the easiest thing you can do, you do. If it's not like your 100% favorite one, where you're like, okay, I need to try to start doing this. So I'm definitely gonna look into that. For me, I think with the AI and creating, I love creativity in every direction. I just do.
Yeah.
I was watching a movie yesterday and I loved how they mixed, like, it was, all kind of different media to tell the story. So I do think it can be interesting to play around with it. At the same time, myself, I like slow filmmaking. I love the old films where you really sit down and you go on a journey. And maybe for others it can be so boring, but I think it's amazing and gorgeous. And I think that's something that's never going to go away.
Me neither. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Me neither.
I don't think so. And I that's something that I appreciate a lot.
Wow.
So I think it's both. I think it's interesting both ways, like using it and at the same time also making the conscious decision, like when you're doing a film, certain films, that you say, no, it's not going to be a part of it. It's not a part of this storytelling, because it's going to be slow filmmaking.
Well, Eva, as I said before, I mean, I learned about like the extras in the background. How does that work? I mean, do you edit it in the do you can you explain how that
No,
works?
I can't. That's the thing. I can't.
That's
I just
magic.
know of. It's an amazing question. I think we need to get someone that is doing that and interview them.
Yeah.
And I think we should definitely look into that we find some kick-ass woman that is doing that, or men.
Yes.
Because I don't know. I just know that that is something that when they were, on a strike in the United States, and they were really afraid of one of those, that would be so easily done. Also, so easily that they can just scan you, and copy and just use your image, use your voice, and like, where are we protected there?
That is
So that's
so
something they
easy
were
to do.
fighting for. The SAC, SAC-AFTRA was we're fighting for that. So that's an interesting thing, and something to think about and look into. Also, when you're using, like, I know there are apps out there that you can do like your own headshots and stuff.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're saying, yes, you can scan all my thing and you can use my image.
Right.
So it's but I don't think it's something I'm not afraid of. I don't want to be afraid of it yet. I know there's a little bit of fear, because this is not going away.
Mm-hmm.
No.
This is here to stay, and it's going to be faster and better, and that pretty fast.
What
So
do
I
you
think
guys
what
think?
is
Sorry. Just let me
no,
know.
no, say.
What do you guys think about, like, as you said before, Valeria? It's we've been, like, I think you're right when you're saying that we've been lucky that we have been the generation where we started without, like, technology, maybe technology, but without, like, phones and stuff.
Right.
And now, as you are saying, it's going really fast. I think. What do you guys think about? I mean, for me, it's when you are a producer and when you work with this kind of stuff that I do, you need to be, like, good with technique, and you need to be, like, as I didn't manage to get my iPhone video here. I'm not good in techniques, but
Okay.
no. I mean, what do you guys think about, like, you need to learn, like, really fast now? Otherwise, I don't know. Because
Left behind.
yeah, you get left behind. That's what I'm afraid of. I need to be, like, really really understanding this part. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. That's what I think. What do you guys think?
I agree. I can tell you my personal experience with AI that couple, I think, months ago, I went through a very kind of, like, intense love period with AI where I used it for everything. Like, I was chatting with ChatGPT every single day, like, throughout the whole day, and I was so excited and fascinated with it. And I even, I started some time ago, probably I mentioned it in our group chat, that I started the Telegram channel where I kind of share my things and my thoughts and my journey with filmmaking. It's called Cinema of the Capital C. And it was more about the beginning, about, my journey and the slow cinema and the things that I appreciate. It was an interesting element that I fell in love with AI. I kind of introduced that element into it, and it slowly became kind of like, firing back because after this intense period, I got, like, really, really scared. There were days where I would chat with ChatGPT longer than I would have a human interaction with another human being. And,
so interesting.
Yeah, it was because I was interested. I started using it. We started using it for our film festival strategy. We kind of started using it with Eva for brainstorming ideas for this project as well. It was very, very helpful. It also, we used it in a way as a more kind of like thinking tool. Like, we asked ChatGPT to help us to think about the things. So it's kind of giving you a broader scope.
Like brainstorming, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brainstorming.
Giving you kind of like a broader pool of things that you can look at, different perspectives, showing your biases even in a way. So I think it's amazing for that, but you really have to have boundaries and you have to be aware of what it can also be doing to you. It's the same for me with social media because I have this sensitive personality, so everything kind of goes inside. So you really have to be careful with that and set the boundaries also, because all
what
those
would you
things.
Say? Can you give an example for when
for the boundaries?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you should really know when to close the app and see that it affects you. affects you
Yeah.
emotionally, that it substitutes your reality, that it creates something like an altered state in your mind, and your the chemistry in your body, something is off, you know, and you're still glued to your device, then you're avoiding something, you know. You really need to kind of, and it's not easy, and I'm not saying that I figured it out, but I kind of started noticing that it happens, and kind of beginning to get myself into this habit of just like closing the app, leaving my phone, and doing like something in the real life, because otherwise you're risking to just like go online and stay there, and then the reality will evade you. I think that's what for the present day generation is a tricky part, because obviously there is so much stimulation, and with social media, with everything that we are currently exposed to.
Did you guys see that? Oh, sorry.
No. Say it. I'm done.
Did you guys see that Australia banned social media for kids under 16 now?
No, that's amazing.
How did they do that?
They are amazing. They do all that thing.
I just learned about it this past week. Because it's too much. As the discussion that you were talking about, Valeria, that
stimuli, right?
Yeah, and that people can be like really cruel to other people, and that I'm not sure if it shows that younger kids feel really bad about it, and then they banned it under 16. I think it is for a year or something to like test, to like try it out. But it's kind of interesting to the discussion that you talk about. That's
interesting.
People,
that is really
the
interesting.
world is starting to listen.
I know they've done in schools here in Austria where they take the phones.
Yeah.
Like they just say, "Now give me the phones," and also the other way around where they say, "Have your phone up in the open. You don't have to hide it. Let's work with it."
Yeah.
So I think that's also interesting, having like a clear line, like a barrier, like for the kids to understand, like, now you can have your phone. You don't have to hide it and be like under the table. You know what I mean? Kind of like, we're going to use it so that I want to see it. And then on the other hand, like, here's a basket, you know, put your phone in here and you get it after class.
No.
So that's also very interesting. What's also interesting when we're talking about our film, La Bella Vita di Veronique, is that I spoke 3 different languages in the film.
Wow.
And I was telling someone that, and they were like, "Oh, so for Italian and for the Russian, you just used AI." And I was like, "What?" I was like, I like really worked hard on it and really, you know, tried to. And I was like,
so funny.
So that's also something I think we artists, that's something that's going to be interesting in the future. And I think they're starting to do that when you are applying for grants and stuff.
Oh.
They ask even, have you used AI?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think that's also interesting. I think that maybe at one point we have to have in the rolling credits, like, it wasn't AI, it was Ava. Like Ava was talking. Like disclaimer, it's her. It's not AI. But that's also an interesting thing, like where you said that the one photographer was afraid, right? In the interview. And that is the thing, it's like, where's the boundary? So I see that happening more and more, that people are getting aware of, like, as in when we are now we are there's another film that I'm working on, and we're just in the writing process of it, and even they're asking fun, they're like, have you used AI, and if yes, how? And I think that's good.
But do you mean
really
like using your AI as your voice, as like an AI voice telling the other languages? That was the question.
Yes. So that is, you have it today, you know, you can have this video of you and you're speaking like different languages. It's still not 100%. You sometimes is a little bit off.
Yeah.
But
I saw those.
It's like it's like very strange. Yet you kind of can do that. You can say, like, in my voice.
Wow.
Speak, I don't know, Chinese or whatever. That's why I was immediately asked, and I was like, I was so proud that I had learned it. You know what I mean? I was like,
amazing.
No.
So fast.
Don't take that away from me.
That's really amazing. Wow.
Yeah. So that's also a thing that I think we have to be just very open about it and even talk about it like that, like
Yeah.
we're doing now. And also, even maybe it has to be in the credits, like
Maybe.
later on
Yeah, maybe.
in the future, where you just really say when was AI used and when wasn't it used.
Yeah, I
as
think
good
so
as you
too.
can.
As I said before, I mean, we are really specific when we are using like AI pictures and stuff. Well, like discussing. Actually, last week we had a coworker that asked GPT, I think, to write a children's book, just as an experiment. And then he talked about it just like in a short video, just asking the question to the audience more or less, like, is it okay for AI to create children's books? What do you guys think? Comment, blah blah blah. And when we used like the images of the book, we were just like writing like a credit on top. It was just like, this is AI, just to be like really specific to the audience, that they so they know that this isn't an image that we created. It's an AI picture. So that's I think we're gonna continue to do that for a long time. But yeah, the AI is getting better and better. So hopefully, I don't know.
And really fast.
It's going really fast.
fast.
And as I said before, I mean, for an example, I don't want to throw my mom under the bus here, but I mean, she's like, she needs a lot of help with her phone. Sometimes just to like pay bills and I don't know, understanding how to do an errand on the bank or something like that. She needs to just like have someone who guides her through the steps. So that's the thing. Because she wasn't interested at all, like having a phone or anything like that before. So she started really late using a phone. So that's the only thing I'm scared about. That we need to research, and we need to know. Otherwise, yeah, you're gonna feel like left out, and you're gonna feel insecure and stressed, because I see on her like body language, she feels like, I don't understand this, and that's scary for me at least. And so that's what I want to take with me in the future, that I need to be sure what this is and learn more about it every day. So yeah.
We love this because that's exactly how I approach things as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like how would you know that it's not for you, for example, if you've no experience with this? I think it's only through exposure and through kind of having the clear boundaries, but at the same time not being afraid of just like every now and then going through the emotions and see what is it for yourself. Also because like just reading about it, it's not very helpful. And sometimes because my experience was very interesting with AI. I got invited to the conference a month ago. It's like an online conference for people who are called themselves early adopters of AI, and they use AI for a lot of stuff. Mainly they are content creators, but like some of them are, I don't know, like managers, business owners, entrepreneurs, a lot of different areas, also filmmakers, a lot of people from all around the world. And there were people who just joined because they also offered as a part of the conference workshops alongside, and they were like very beginner level, like how to install ChatGPT and how to customize it, that sort of thing. And it was interesting that people had such a different idea what it was. They joined the course because they wanted to learn, but we also had like a community and a chat there, and we exchange our opinions and experience. And when I was looking for it, I was like, very interesting, because it's like out there, it's available, it's free. You can use it, obviously a paid version, but like it's free, and yet people still were too kind of maybe intimidated to have their own experience. They went the other way around. They bought the course. They wanted like it to be explained to them. But I honestly think that's not a thing that can be explained, because it's something that you can only explore and see how it can fit into your life. So it's amazing. I think you have a very great attitude to that.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, I
And
think it's important.
yeah, I think it's important too. And maybe I should have like one of those sections when I talk to ChatGPT like you did, Valeria, because I think that's an experience too. I mean, I haven't used it more than just like summarize or help me with this or that. I haven't had like discussions with it like you did. That I think that's a great experience too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think like now I want it to be like the volume of it to be a little bit less in my life, just because I really value the human connection and the things that you can still enjoy. Because I think with AI, at least what I've heard from the podcast of people who are really into this topic, like Lex Friedman, for example, who I admire, he talks about that at some point our understanding of AI will just become redundant, really, because it will surpass our capability, and then probably won't be any meaning into kind of interacting with it.
But I think it's an I mean you doing the whole like research and digging into AI as you did was a good example also for you to just like for me it's more important to connect with people. That was maybe like I don't know part of the experience, of course.
That's a very that's a very good observation. Thank you. Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Definitely was.
Well, we want to thank you so much for your precious time.
Thank you for having me.
And at one point, I thought it was gorgeous. You were wearing your journalist hat all of a sudden. I loved it. And you started asking us the question. I was like, I like this very much. She's coming alive. I love it. I love it. So everyone, if you were watching this, if you were listening to it, do check the video and you can see when a journalist starts very slowly without, it was like slow burner kind of thing, and then I was like, wait a minute, I think she's turning this around. we have to be careful. We have a journalist, like this is a professional. We have to be careful here. I loved it. Thank you so much.
I didn't want to
really a pleasure.
I didn't want to interrupt you guys before also, and I after a while I feel a little bit like uncomfortable talking about myself in this kind of I don't know the spotlight. So after a while I need to just like okay, let's talk more about
this was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you so
no,
much.
This was perfect. It's perfect. Thank you so much. And everyone that, for our listeners, you who are listening or watching this, we will obviously in the show notes put all the links to Madeleine's work. And also there's one thing we have to mention before we end this, and that is you are working on some shorts now. Would you like to talk about that? I think are you looking for people or content, or what is... Can you tell us about that?
Wow, that's a good question. We're actually telling the longer documentaries takes a lot of time, obviously, to tell those kinds of stories. But the things that people want to watch is more or less like people's destinies, more or less. So we are trying to tell like shorter stories about just it's difficult for now just like give an example, but I mean there are a lot of stories that haven't been told, and it can be done like in shorter, like in a minute you can tell a story about like I don't know. I don't have any idea for now, but I went through a course that is called Art of Documentary. I don't know if you know about it. It's about two guys that are having courses that are really interesting. I can really recommend them. And they have like a one-day doc contest every like year, I think. And then you need to just like tell a story in 1 minute, more or less. Not 1 minute, but at least you made a documentary in 1 day. So that is a concept that I want to just like keep create, and then we need to just like, I don't know, have people that have been through stuff. It can be like, I don't know, like a disorder, or someone who's singing, or someone who's, I don't know, it can be anything. So yeah.
So if you're listening to us here and you heard Madeleine talk about this, and you have something that you would like to share with the world, where we maybe can learn from you and, you know, understand the journey and understand what it means to go through what you have been through, then do. Madeleine, we will have your... how can they contact you? How can people contact you?
All right, so they can write to me on Instagram if they want to. Madeleine Longo. So on Instagram, if they want to, they can send me a DM. Or also, I have Facebook, and I also have my email address that I can. Would you guys want me to share it here, or should we post it somewhere?
Yes, we will have that in the show notes for everyone.
Cool.
That you can then reach out to her if there's, as I said, she's working on these beautiful documentaries, these short ones, and that we could then you could share your story with us through Madeleine.
Perfect.
Which is also gorgeous.
Perfect.
So yeah, amazing. No, we'll put that in the show notes. We'll have the link there, and so people can contact you through social media or email.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you.
Well,
this
thank
was
you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
It was really nice, you guys, that you wanted to have me as a guest. It's been a really good experience for me as well.
Oh, I was so glad to hear that. It was I heard immediately about you when I heard who I wanted, to talk to. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes.
What was that?
Wow, girl. Okay, we are celebrating
It's just some
now.
fireworks.